This is a Monday.com ad. The same Monday.com helping people worldwide getting work done faster and better. The same Monday.com designed for every team and every industry. The same Monday.com with built-in AI, scaling your work from day one. The same Monday.com that your team will actually love using. The same Monday.com with an easy and intuitive setup. Go to Monday.com and try it for free. Yes, the same Monday.com.
Welcome to the No Guilt Mom podcast. I'm your host, Joanne Crone. We are coming here to the end of January. And guys, I am so excited to introduce you to our guest because it is a topic that I know we talk a lot about in our No Guilt Mom circle. Hello to all my Lolas out there, by the way. And it's a hard thing because it's not defined yet. And this is the concept of daughtering, the act of being a daughter and the emotions that come into that and the mental load. I mean, some of you may actually be in that situation where you're in the sandwich generation and you're taking care of your parents' needs as well as taking care of your kids' needs. Or you may be feeling like the weight of all the criticism from your own parents on your parenting. This is going to help you so much. And to help us with that, it is Dr. Allison Alford. She is a communications scholar, a professor at Baylor University, and author of Good Daughtering, the work you've always done, the credit you've never gotten, and how to finally feel like enough. She holds a PhD in communication studies with a concentration in interpersonal communication from the University of Texas at Austin. Alford has 17 years of experience teaching university courses, and her specialties are value propositions, conflict resolution techniques, teamwork, meeting facilitation, and people skills for leaders. And I am so excited to get in this discussion with her right after this. Let's get on with the show. Welcome, Allison, to the podcast. I'm so happy to have you here and start digging into all of this information you have on daughtering.
Thank you, Joanne, for having me. It's great to be here. And I just can't stop talking about daughtering. So I welcome any opportunity, and I'm really grateful that you have me today.
This is something that before I read your book, honestly, I didn't even think how much this affected my life. So before we get into it, can you define for us what exactly is doing daughtering?
Yeah. So when we're born, we're a daughter. We're a daughter from day one, and we're a daughter all the way until the end of our life. Even after our parents are gone, we still feel like a daughter. So the role of daughter is one that is with us all our life. And some women add other roles like wife, mother, college student, mayor, whatever it may be.
So much. Yeah.
Right. But the daughter role is always with us. For generations, it's really just been living in the background, and we haven't been paying attention to how much time, energy, and effort we spend on being a daughter. So doing daughtering is what I consider everything that an adult daughter does to keep the relationship with her parent or parents going, trying to stay connected. And sometimes that's tasks like calling on the phone or visiting or buying a gift. But a lot of times the overlooked part of daughtering is that heavy emotional labor that we're doing. That is the way that we're thinking about our parents, that we're smoothing over situations, that we're carrying worry. And we're not only having that going on and we're doing it, we are, for some reason, always feeling like we're not doing it well enough.
Right?
Like there's more to be done.
Yes, it's so interesting looking at the tasks that I take on with my parents and looking at the tasks that my husband takes on with his parents. And he looks at me sometimes and I'm all stressed out. Just don't do it, Joanne. But I really think there's difference between the expectations on daughters versus the expectations on sons. What have you seen the difference to be?
Absolutely. I am married to a man who is a son, and he's a great son. And I think it's important to say we're not bashing sons. Lots of adult men do things in their families, but The difference between an adult son and an adult daughter is that weight of expectation. There's just so much more that women are expected to do, that either culture says that we have to do or our family members make us feel like we have to do. And we've absorbed and internalized that. And men just don't have that sense of expectation. So when they go do something in their family, it's like, oh, hooray, you showed up, or they brought us a meal today. What a good son. But when women do it, it's like, of course, what else would she be doing? This is what daughters are supposed to be doing.
And then it's like, if you don't do it, you're like, you're not a good daughter. Like, why don't you do this? I just remember growing up in my house, my dad, he's an only child, and he would go and do stuff for his mom that involved really physical labor. Like he would dig out an irrigation system in her backyard, or he would take her to the store. But my mom, with her mom, I saw that she was on the phone with her mom every single night, talking through things, being that emotional support. And just the amount of time involved was so much different in just those expectations that each placed on them. And I think, like, do you see the generation before ours kind of place those expectations on us as kids? Because I felt it from my mom that I'm not a good daughter because I don't call enough.
You know, I'm not sure that we know exactly where all the expectations come from, right? Because there's sort of society in general, but there's also from our parents, and I'm a very elder millennial. Okay. I'm 43.
I am too. Geriatric. Yes. We're geriatric millennials.
Yeah. So my parents are baby boomers. And one thing that seems true of the baby boomers is they don't like change. They want everything exactly the way it's always been done. So it's very much like, if this is the way that I called my mom, and this is how often I visited my parents or in-laws, then this is what you should be doing. And yet it's sort of arbitrary where these rules come from. And yet as women, we absorb them and feel like if we're not doing that thing that our friends or our neighbors or our cousins are doing, then we're not good enough. Even though what I've found in my research is that most women are doing a ton of stuff just unrecognized. And so you may not be doing all those visits, but you're doing phone calls or planning or worrying or organizing or paying for something. And you're showing up in a lot of ways that are invisible to many people. They're just not noticing the type of daughtering that you're doing.
That is so true, because that emotional labor, it really takes a toll. And you describe in your book that so many daughters are living in what you call the messy middle. And how would you explain that space to a woman who feels really guilty for struggling? Because on paper, her relationship with her parents looks fine.
Yeah, there's so many. When we look in the media or we think about these examples of daughters we see, if we were to read a book about a mother and daughter, there's often these extremes. And so we hear a lot about narcissism, abusive relationship, toxic relationships. We've even really recently been hearing a lot about going no contact. And there are some really difficult, broken, sad relationships. And we hear about them a lot, and it can kind of make us seem like that maybe that's the majority, but it's not. On the other hand, we often see these idyllic mothers and daughters who are quote unquote best friends, which is a term I hate and think is fake. I don't think you can be best friends with a parent, and a child can never be best friends. But
can you dig a little bit more into that? Like, why can't a parent and a child be best friends?
Because a parent and a child will never have a power distribution that is a hallmark of friendship. A hallmark of friendship is a peer-like relationship with an equal power distribution and an option to leave. So the parent-child relationship doesn't have that. You will never have been the one who changed your parents' diaper the way they changed your diaper. You will never reverse fully that. I mean, they made a decision to bring you into the world, and you never ever get control over decisions like that for your parent. Even when they get older and they have more physical caregiving needs, you never become they're superior in terms of the decision maker or decider. You can never go back in time in a time machine and have been around the same age, same context, same point in time. And those are hallmarks of friendship, but particularly the element of choice. We can't ever decide to not be the daughter of our parent. Even if we do go no contact, we're always still going to be their daughter. So, I see a lot of these, what I was saying in the media, these examples of cute, perfect, everything's so great. But those are really fake. I have never come across a mother-daughter pair. I shouldn't say fake. Maybe I should say rare.
Okay.
That have this level of closeness and mutuality that doesn't veer into an unhealthy enmeshment and codependence. Because parent and child are not meant to be absorbed in each other that way. And your listeners, of course, have children. And so we have an understanding of that generational differences. Many have partners. And those are places that are more healthy for us to place our support needs on. So we want to stay in contact with and in relationship with our parent, but we don't want them to be our whole universe or for us to be their whole universe, because that doesn't allow for these other important relationship dynamics.
That is a really, really good point. And something you said in that is the difference between actually being a daughter and having this emotional codependence. And I want to explore with you a little bit about the differences between the two right after this. I've been thinking about 2026, and one of my big goals is finally starting a real travel fund, like not just a maybe someday fund or like book the vacation and then hope you have all the money to pay for it, but one that actually makes the trip happen, because I don't want money stress deciding what we say yes to anymore. Managing your money doesn't have to be a struggle this year. Monarch is the all-in-one personal finance tool designed to make your life easier. It brings your entire financial life, budgeting, accounts, and investments, net worth, and future planning together in one dashboard on your laptop or phone. Start your new year on the right foot financially and get 50% off your Monarch subscription with code NOGUILT. And let's be real, typically New Year's resolutions don't last past February, because when you make them, there's usually wishes. You make wishes, but there's no solid plan. Monarch helps you set realistic financial goals based on your actual life. In fact, in a 2025 survey, Monarch helped users save over $200 per month on average after joining. This new year, achieve your financial goals for good. Monarch is the all-in-one tool that makes proactive money management simple all year long. Use code NOGUILT at monarch.com for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code NOGUILT. Whenever I think about meal planning, I feel this wave of anxiety, because just the thought of sitting down to do it takes so much time and brain space, like deciding what I want to eat, what my kids will eat, how to make everyone happy, and somehow still get more fruits and vegetables on the table. It's exhausting for me before I even step into the kitchen. That's why Hungry Root has been such a game changer for me. Hungry Root is honestly the easiest way to eat healthy because it does all the thinking for you. It works like a personal nutrition coach and a grocery shopper all in one. You take this quick quiz and tell Hungry Root your preferences. I answered questions like what proteins I like, what flavors I like, what foods I don't like, and especially like I'm thinking of my kids there too, and also how you like to cook. And then Hungry Root builds this entire meal plan and sends it straight to your door. And the meals range from super simple, like these quick microwave options, to chef-inspired recipes that feel elevated, but are still easy to make. It makes everyone happy. Most importantly, me. It makes me happy. Take advantage of this exclusive offer. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box, plus get a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/NGM and use code NGM. That's hungryroot.com/NGM, code NGM to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. I used to have this friend who made yearbooks for her kids every year, and I loved the idea until I realized it took her weeks to put one together. And I knew that was never going to happen for me. That's why I'm so excited to have created a year in review book with Journey Print. Journey Print lets you upload your photos straight from your phone, and their smart algorithm automatically organizes everything by date and even adds maps and locations. So it becomes a real story, not just a pile of pictures in just minutes. One of my favorite moments in the book is seeing all of these little everyday memories put together and being able to go through them with my kids at my side rather than just scrolling through my photos on my phone. Holding it in my hands let me relive all of it. It is a meaningful keepsake that fits my life, and it came together so fast and easy. Plus, the quality is gorgeous. You can choose from premium satin or glossy paper, and Journey Print plants one tree for every order, which I love. Go to journeyapp.com/podcast/NGM and use the code no guilt to get 30% off your next purchase. That's Journey, spelled JOURNIAPP.com/podcast/NGM and use code no guilt at checkout. Allison, right before the break, you were talking about this emotional codependence that can happen in relationships to have your mom be the end all be all when you're a daughter. What is the differences? What do you look for in a healthy mother-daughter relationship versus one that may be a little emotionally codependent and maybe causing a lot of strain on the daughter?
Yeah, I should pause here to say I was raised by a marriage and family therapist mother. So I
Yes.
have this unique kind of place that I come at when as a researcher of communication and interpersonal relationships and families, but as somebody who was raised by a therapist who was trying to heal our family and her family system while also instituting these important boundaries. So practitioners and clinicians tend to agree that healthy parent-child relationships in adulthood are characterized by independence with connection. Meaning, the way I think of it is I'm over here in my circle and you're over here in your circle. And I want to talk to you and I want to see you, but we don't come in each other's circles. Enmeshment looks more like a Venn diagram. Like I'm not okay unless you're okay. And I can't be okay in my day unless I've checked in with you and you're okay. And if I do anything that upsets you, I have to fix that before I can do anything else in my day. And, I think that some of us might see that in ourselves, or there's times in life where we veer into that because either our family system is like that, or we feel sad or lonely or go through some difficult times. But when we're in our healthiest, most vibrant state, we stay in our own circle and our parent is over here. And that lets us share our circle with partners and our children and go let our circle visit other people's circles and not be constantly dependent on whether my parent is having an okay day. So I think that most of the women that I talk to, and probably most of your audience could agree that things with our parent, they're not perfect, but they're generally not super toxic. That's the messy middle that we're in. We're trying to make it better. We love this person or these people. We want to be in a family, but for some reason, it also always feels hard. And we're trying to just learn a little bit about that and make it a little bit less messy.
Yeah, because the emotional load that we have on us is a lot. Like you mentioned before, the smoothing over of things, the continuing of the relationship, I think is the biggest thing that goes unnoticed, at least in my own life. By the things I do with, I'm like, oh, let's have people over for dinner. Let's go call them and see if they want to come out with us. Let's do this. And they're first time consuming. They're emotionally draining on me. And they're things that I don't think my husband as a son has those expectations on him to really carry out. It's that emotional management. How does that constant emotional management impact women as daughters over time?
I'll share this funny story. As you were talking, Joanne, I thought of this example that just happened over the holidays that maybe somebody could relate to. So we were visiting my parents, and it was our last morning together, and we all decided to go out to Waffle House. So we went out to the Waffle House, and myself and my husband and mom and dad are in a booth, and the kids are sitting over at the bar top. And we get to eating, and then something comes up, and there's some friction between my mom and I. And I mean, I've been trying the whole time not to make it happen. And this friction starts happening. And my husband like knocks me in the leg because he's like, I know you don't want to do this. He's not telling me to cut it out for everybody else, but because he knows that my goal is to have smooth experiences with my mom. So
Okay.
I say something like, your turn. Like, you go. Like, tell us what you've been reading about on your phone recently or something. So we move on, right? But it's not resolved. And so then we end up getting in the car. We go to this other location. We go to this other location. We're just having fun doing some things, picking up drinks at Swig or whatever. And I said to my husband, okay, I want to make one more stop at TJ Maxx because I need to smooth things over with my mom. I've got to repair it. The whole time was just feeling that tension and that sandpaper, and then I needed to fix it before I could leave. Okay. And we went over there, and we're having the shopping experience, and everybody goes everywhere, and I'm just walking alongside her, and I said, Mom, I love you very much, even though you're very annoying. And she laughed, and she said, same to you. And we had a little hug, and then that was it. It was the kind of thing that I needed to do in person, and I needed to do before I could leave. I have this mantra, and one of the things I do in the book is try to help people figure out a mission statement or a mantra. And mine and my family is, I want my mom to feel loved. Okay. And in order for her to feel loved, I have to close my mouth sometimes, strategically avoid certain things, repair things, watch my porcupine tendencies. And it's a lot of self-management so that she can feel loved. But having her feel loved makes me feel like a good daughter. So I'm also serving me. And the family thrives when everyone feels like she and I are doing well. And so it's a big system that impacts a lot of people.
That is a big system, because just as you explain that is a heavy load that you're carrying in trying to smooth over the relationship with you and your mom. You say that, and I'm assuming in my head, though, that your mom has the same intentions for you, that she wants you to feel loved as well.
I believe that to be true. And so, every family out there is going to be different. And I have the benefit of being in a family where, in general, my mom is not trying to poke or provoke or anger or frustrate or needle me. And not everybody has a mom like that. Some people's moms are just, poking all the time. And so you may have a different goal. And your goal may be more self-protection than relational maintenance. In my family, I tend to worry that I am so big and so much and so pokey that I deflate her, that I hurt her. So there are daughters like me who feel like we're always running around hurting everybody else because we're so sharp or we're so pokey. I don't know. A good way to say that one.
That's me. I feel like I am the one who is like strong and opinionated, and I will come in and I will like boss a situation. And I don't want to like to say bossy. I am the boss. I know exactly what I want, and I want everyone else to not fall in place, but I just have the ideas about how to orchestrate things.
I call myself the cruise director.
Yeah, exactly. Are you an oldest daughter by chance?
No, I'm actually not. I'm a younger daughter. I have an older sister, but I think she and we've come up with a good partnership for who does what. And my sister lives close to my parents. Her house is close to their house. So we've made an agreement that she does things like meals, visits, take the grandkids by. I don't live there, so I can't get there as often. And my kids who are teenagers are involved in sports and lots of things that prevent us from being in person. So I am the emotional manager daughter. And so we have agreed to partner by using our different skill sets. So it's not like one of us is doing more and the other doing less, but we have agreed to do different things. But as the emotional manager person, whether you want to call, I think it's good to give it a name, whether it's cruise director or family CEO. It is a job and it's a rewarding job. It's a job I want. I've taken it on. I'd much rather be the CEO than be, the new intern who doesn't have any power.
Be the boss. Yes.
That's right. But it is a lot of work. And I think when it comes to being a mom or a wife or a friend, women already know that about ourselves. I work hard to be a wife. I work hard to be a friend. I call people up. I text them on their birthday. I buy them gifts. I'm thinking of them. And as a mom, of course, I work myself to the bone.
Right.
But we don't always realize how much effort and our resources that we're assigning to that role of daughter and how draining it can be, even though there is, at the other end, there's a rewarding part to it.
Yeah, you're right, because I, like you, I am the emotional labor person. Like I have a younger sister and she lives close by and she's the one who brings the grandkids over and they do stuff and she invites my parents out. But I'm the one who I'm like, oh, what's going on here? Tell me everything that's going on. Oh, let me come in and like help you with this or talk through this or do whatever. And I constantly tell myself I am not doing enough for my parents, totally negating that emotional labor role. And I think, like, you're right. So many women do that and don't give themselves credit for that. And as a result of that, I think the guilt comes through. And I think also we're less likely to set boundaries with our parents because of this guilt we feel that we're not doing enough. So right after this, I want to talk with you and ask your suggestions about setting those boundaries.
DSW, Designer Shoe Warehouse, is the one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. With sneakers, boots, and everything in between for every style, mood, and occasion, you'll definitely find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. DSW has what you need, but more importantly, they have what you didn't even know you wanted. You never know what you'll find at DSW. Find the shoes that get you at prices that get your budget at DSW stores or DSW.com.
The start of a new year always gets me thinking about what I want for myself and what I want for my family. I ask myself the question, how do we set everyone up for success? And for a lot of parents that I know, that question comes up most around school. Maybe your child needs more flexibility. Maybe they learn better at their own pace. And that's why I want to tell you about K-12 powered schools. K-12 powered schools are tuition free. They're online and they're accredited public schools for kindergarten through 12th grade. And what I love most is that they're designed to meet kids where they are. With K-12, your child gets the support they need through a tailored curriculum. They also use hands-on innovative technology to make learning interactive. As a former teacher, I can tell you how important that is. K-12 has more than 25 years of experience helping students build real skills, grow in confidence, and thrive with flexibility and personalized learning. If you're rethinking what school could look like for your child this year, K-12 powered schools are absolutely worth exploring. Join the more than 3 million families who have been served by K-12 and empower your student to reach their full potential now. You can make the switch at any time. Go to k12.com/NGM today to learn more. That's the letter K, the number 12.com/NGM. K12.com/NGM.
I had that dream again. My small business needs to hire, but I don't use LinkedIn, and I hire wrong. So then I'm doing IT, and when I go to plug the servers in, they become sentient, and they won't let us access our network unless we forward their chain emails and memes to more and more and more people, and then I wake up.
Don't let hiring nightmares ruin your dreams. LinkedIn Jobs' new AI assistant finds and invites best fit candidates to apply so you can discover talent you may have missed. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/quality. Start hiring today with LinkedIn.
Allison, we talked a lot about the different roles that daughters can play, especially when they're playing that emotional labor role. But there are times in our lives where we do have to set boundaries with our parents so that our mom role is protected, our like spouse role is protected, our worker employee role is protected. And a lot of women worry that boundaries automatically mean that distance or rejection. How do you define boundaries when you're in this messy middle?
Yeah. The first thing I think women have to consider is what's my battery level? And before we decide what do I want to do to fix things, which is what a boundary is good for, we have to first calibrate what can I do? What do I have mental, emotional, financial, space for in my life? And so I think that each of us has to be aware of all the resources we're giving to all the places and how much we have to give. And this is so important because once we're aware, okay, this is the size and the space of the block that I have to give on the building block for family, then we can feel less guilty that we're not giving more building blocks to it because we don't have any more. I calibrated, I counted, I looked at my castle, and I don't have any other building blocks to give. So what women do poorly is we overestimate how many resources we have to give. And then we beat ourselves up for not being 10 people or having 30 hours in a day or having
not organizing
more
well
money
enough to get it done.
or organizing well enough. And we have to give ourselves a break and say, okay, this is how many resources I can give. So if I do then give those resources appropriately, I have effectively done daughtering. And so it doesn't matter how many resources I think I ought to have to give. That's like thinking I ought to live in a mansion, but I don't. So I have to be aware of what I have. And so in my book, I call this getting comfortable with B+ daughtering. We can be and give ourselves permission to get the grade of a B+. Okay. A B+ is pretty good.
It is
Didn't
pretty
do
good.
everything perfectly, but pretty good.
Me and my achievement roll automatically when you say B+, Allison, I'm like, oh, it's not an A. I could have tried harder. Like that's how much ingrained it is in me.
I know. So it starts with self-work, right? And this idea comes from the attachment literature with parents. John Bowlby told mothers, listen, you don't have to be on guard all day long, every moment, listening for your baby to cry, picking them up, feeding them all day long, changing their diaper 30 times. A child to thrive only needs a good enough mother. And that means you have to let some things go, which actually gives you permission to be a human, which actually will in turn make you a better mother. The same is true for daughtering. If we give ourselves permission to be good enough for meeting the most intense or basic things that we would like to meet in our parent, whether that's an emotional need or a financial need or a time need. And we say, well done. Good job, me.
Yeah.
Solid B+ this month. Then we can actually become people who enjoy doing daughtering more and in turn have more satisfaction in that role and better connection because we're not constantly at war with ourselves.
Oh, yeah. I think it becomes so hard because especially all the geriatric millennials out there, we are getting to the stage now where our parents need a little more care in health. And one of the biggest things I see in members of my community is that they worry that their parents are lonely. And so they're in here trying to fill in the gap of loneliness while also trying to fill in the gap of healthcare, managing other things while also parenting their own kids. And they're seeing all of these things as equal priorities and not quite sure how to dial that back. Because you say be a B+ daughter, and I'm like, I'm not sure what to cut out. Like, how would you approach that?
The first thing I would do and what I recommend is talking to your parent about what they'd really like from you and take them at face value. So one of the things I've been working on, and my sister and I have been working on and talking a lot about that over the past few years, is what do my parents actually need from us? and what are we over inserting ourselves in?
That's such a good question.
We pull each other back. So like recently there was this thing about their car and I was like, I just want them to blah, 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 blah. And my sister said to me, they're fine. They can afford it. They're doing it together. They have each other. The situation is okay. And that is them living their lives. And we have to let them live their lives. So we have to resist those maternal instincts that are rising up in us that we're using every single day at the forefront of parenting, over transferring them onto our parent and thinking that they would need or want us to intensively daughter them in that way. We have to instead empower our parent to live their best life, to find their purpose, to find peers. Everybody needs peers. Everybody needs an outlet for spending their gifts and talents, whether that's volunteering or going over to the neighbor's house to feed their dog or something. And so we need to shift as a daughter from doing a lot for our parent to empowering our parent, which still uses a lot of our resources. But we can gather a group of people that also work on that empowering, and then we become a bigger force if we empower our parent and we send in the troops rather than just acting it like I am the one who fulfills you. So I will give you my one-on-one time and you will be happy in life as long as you're with me. That gets into that enmeshment where I'm not just over here in my circle anymore. I walked into your circle to fix your circle for you. And we can't do that if we want to stay healthy and we want to avoid burnout.
Yeah. And I also think a big part of that is acceptance of what your parents say back to you with what they need and what you can do. Because I mean, it's so hard. My parents, I feel like they don't have enough peers. And I could like talk until I'm blue in the face. Oh, you should go do this. Oh, you should go do that. Or there's this and there's that. And finally, after doing that for so long, I was like, you know what? They are adults. They are in charge of their own lives. This is not a priority for them. So I need to accept this and just stand back. And I think doing that has helped me have a better relationship with my parents because it's not like fighting them all the time. And instead it's just being with them and accepting what they choose to do.
It's so interesting because what you're describing, it's kind of like a self boundary, right? So boundaries are so important. Boundaries are what will I do? What will I not do? And sometimes we need to make boundaries with our parent. Like when you start talking in that negative way, I'm hanging up the phone, right? I can't listen to that. I can't listen to you complain about your sister or about my brother. So if you veer into that, I have to hang up the phone because I have to protect my space. But sometimes we need to make boundaries with ourselves. I will not step into my parents' finances until they ask me to. They may end up in the poorhouse and living in a van down by the river. But I
love that reference. We use that here all the time.
But I am not going, I have to recognize where my parent is experiencing pathology, dementia, something like really wrong versus I just think I could do their life better for them if they would only let me manage their life for them. And that's where we are overextending ourselves. And we're the ones messing up our own resources by over inserting ourselves, and we're walking our circle into their circle. And we have to boundary ourselves not to do that.
That is such a good explanation of it. I never thought of it like a self boundary before, but you're totally right. So like Lola's out there, don't give away your resources unnecessarily. Don't get in there. Don't.
I love your
Allison,
Lola's group.
The Lolas, yes. They're the Lolas. It stands for Lotus Ladies because we use a Lotus framework. And so I
love
Lolas.
it. I listened to the whole podcast about it that you had recently and was just in awe. And I think it's amazing what you're doing in your community and how you're helping women because that's what we need more of. We don't necessarily need to run into our parents' life and manage them, but we do need to share with others, our peers, our partners, our friends, our siblings. Here's what I'm experiencing, and we can just get it off our chest. And so I love that you have a community like that. So valuable.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I love your book coming out. When's the release date for your book?
I have it right here.
Right there. Oh, I love it. It's all pink too.
Pink. Good Daughtering comes out February 17, 2026. So you can pre-order, or if you're listening to this after that date, it's available everywhere fine books are sold. You can find me on my platform. Instagram is my main one, Daughtering 101. And I just really want to hear from the women in the trenches doing this. Like you and I sharing these stories today is so helpful to me too, to just tell my story.
Yeah, I love it. I love that you've coined this term, daughtering, and we should all start using it because it is a big emotional load and we need to look at that and how we spend our resources. So thank you so much, Allison, for coming on the podcast today. And remember out there, the best mom is a happy mom. Take care of you, and I'll talk to you later. If you'd like to support the show further, you can share episodes with your loved ones, leave a positive review, or follow us on social media at No Guilt Mom. You can also show your love by visiting our amazing podcast sponsors. We have a link in the show notes.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.